Okay. I think all the buttons are working from the jump for once. That is a tremendous improvement over how things normally go. We're also live 28 minute. God damn it. I thought I was a full half hour ahead of schedule. I am 8 minutes ahead of schedule, which is kind of on track given how if I log in on time, it's 30 minutes behind schedule. But I'm gonna grab the order for today. I think I need to give it like 30 seconds before I can rip the Twitch ad. Hello, Anthony. Hello, the name does not matter. Welcome to the stream. How y'all doing today? Hello, Wolf. Hello, Siorid. Hello, Bone Lord. Hello, Naraki. Naraki, I forgot to ping you on Discord. We probably can't fit you in today. Today's stream has to be shorter than normal because I have a filming of Decked Out to go to. I was trying to film with them last night, but one of their cameras broke, and so we couldn't get the game recorded, and so we have to go back and record it again this evening. We can probably get you in either this Friday or this Sunday, if either of those days work for you. How do you feel about Don Andres as a commander? Oh god, I have the... There, that's fixed. He seems fine. I think the biggest benefit is obviously that you can steal bad creatures, and now the creatures get a little bit better. It seems like it could be a sleeper hit, particularly at bracket 2 and bracket 3, because then you can fill the deck with like, okay, my deck is theft, and my deck is control spells to stop other people from winning the game, and then I'm gonna beat you over the head with a rock that I found in your pocket, and that probably works. That probably works to some degree. Um, you're probably still gonna have a bad time against like combat decks or combo decks. Noda, thank you very much for the Prime sub for the 7th month. Welcome back to the dog home. Hey, with 12 months being a story set over a year in Dresden's life leading up to the wedding, is there a particular scene you were hoping to read? Ooh, there's... Hmm. There's too many. Every single one I think of is too juicy. There's like too many. There's too many threads that are not even threads, but like my brain fuses. There are too many fuses that are too close to the dynamite right now, and so I want to see more stuff with Molly. There's not even like one particular like cats out of the bag thing that I want to see with Molly, but there's just so much change happening with Molly that it will be interesting to see the outcomes of. Seeing more stuff with Marcone is going to be very interesting. Seeing more stuff with Mab is going to be interesting. Seeing more stuff with what being not Voidborn, whatever the fuck Dresden's classification is, Starborn. With what being Starborn means, with what's happening in the prison, if anything happens with Thomas, if anything happens with the mystery prisoner under the island, like it's just genuinely there's too much shit. Can you recommend a niche goth waifu commander? I mean, okay, easy layup there is you pick a bad Teysa, right? Because then it's niche in the sense that there are Teysas that aren't very good, and it's still the most common goth waifu that we've ever heard of. Niche goth waifu. Hold on. I'm gonna show you Art Tagger. Thank you, Naraki. Let's plan on Sunday. Doesn't have to be human. All right. How is there no... I'm amazed. I am amazed that Scryfall does not have a goth lady tag in their art tagging scheme. That's crazy. Oh, Savra. Pretty goth. You can make the suggestion for Felisa. She is very bad in every sense of the word. What about that black-red anime chick from Jumpstart? I don't think Evereth is very niche, though. I may be a little biased on that because I spend so much time thinking about magic, but I don't track her as niche. 8-bit beeps. Is anyone else hearing that? I remember you hating on Painful Truths. Why is that? Drawing 3 for 3 mana seems good. Drawing 3 for 3 mana does seem good. I tend to not like it when you are in situations where the limiting factor is not just getting cards into my hand, because people who are running Painful Truths are typically running Painful Truths at the expense of some other better card draw spell. I think the most one-to-one example is if you're looking at draw spells and you are running Painful Truth but not Stock Up, it is universally better to get the best 2 out of 5 than it is to get the top 3 for 3. I cannot imagine, unless you are like Secret Commander Psychic Frog, and you desperately need more cards in hand to discard to your little guy to make him bigger. That's more of what it has to do, is most decks that I have seen running Painful Truths are at such a... They have so many other options that would either provide better draw or would provide good draw and would provide other things on the top of it. Like if I see you running Painful Truths in a token deck that isn't running Caretaker's Talent, my god. My god. Or... you know, Painful Truths, but you're not running... Not Dire... I'm thinking of Stargaze. Don't fucking quote me on Dire Sight. I mean, Surveilling's good, whatever, but I wouldn't say, oh, Surveil 2, Draw 2, so much better than Draw 3. Than like Stargaze. Like, I think most of the situations where you need that many cards, getting them for... I've just never seen the deck where... oh, getting these 3 cards for 3 mana is going to leave me with enough mana to double spell and will meaningfully change the game for me. And if I see one of those decks, Painful Truths will be awesome. Painful Truths is fine. It's just one of those... Painful Truths is the card draw spell that your grandpa gave you. It is a card that is put into decks because it has sentimental value, and it was one of the first, like, okay card draw spells that you ran. And there's a lot of other better options, or options that will be superior in the way that you want them to be superior for your specific deck. And so that's most of why I clown on it. Thank you all for the combo. I appreciate that. Unseen Door, thank you for the tier 1 sub for the 7th month. Welcome back to the dog home. What if they are non-blue and need cards in hand? Then I would refer you to Stargaze. I would refer you to Requiem Monolith. I would refer you to maybe... But the thing is, if you're non-blue and you're 3 color, because that's really where Painful Truths becomes good. If you are not spending 3 different colored pips to cast Painful Truths, then it's just like, just cast fucking Dire Sight, dog. And so if you're in a 3 color black pairing that doesn't have blue, you are probably a Mardu tokens deck and should be running one of your token engines instead. If you're in a Jund deck, you're probably doing something with your graveyard and should be flipping something out of your graveyard instead. Like, again, it's fine. It's just the most, like... It is the most common card I see that is a B+ when you have an A grade card you could put in it. Alright, so I'm going to catch up with the cheer messages and then set the custom card reviews live. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Pairing Don Andres with @knife point just fills me with glee. Oh yeah, it'd be really good for, that's again, like, I'm gonna beat you to death with this rock that I found in your pocket. Like, it could be very good for combat, but that means you have to be playing at a table where combat with a +2/+2 banner matters. I don't play at many of those tables, but if you're playing at those tables, awesome. No, SC, you can pre-buy. Oh my lord, oh my lord. Every week for the last month, we pre-sell custom card slots on Wednesday. We are doing deck roast today. There will still be free custom card slots put up tomorrow when we do the custom card reviews with Veggie. But for once, I was live before the custom card submissions were set to go up, so I have to put the pre-sales live on Ko-Fi. Same shit we've been doing. Same shit. Same soup. Same bowl even. And then Tarzard, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. So I just started Magic 3 weeks ago by buying 5,500 cards at an auction. And I've been trying to make a deck with them, but I'm not doing well with it. What do you think of Ludovic the Necro Genius as a commander? So pause. I just want to circle back on... That's like saying I decided to start my own bakery by buying one of every ingredient. 5,000 cards at an auction? Holy shit. No, you're good. No. You're... This is excellent. This is amazing. This is pure joy. That's a lot of cards. Brother bear, sister bear, sibling bear. That's crazy. He's not very good. He's not very good, but the beautiful part of Commander is that you can make a deck out of cards that are not very good. I'm not known for making good financial choices. We were paying like 10 cents a card, right? At most. If we're pulling Ludovic the Necro Genius out of this pile. Hey, thank you, Army Hitch. Okay, I'm gonna set the things live on Ko-Fi. So Tarzard, if you're getting into Magic with this really big collection, what I would recommend you do is either purchase a precon on top of the 5.5 thousand cards you have already purchased, or I would look at precon deck lists online at the site called Moxfield. Because if you've not played Magic before, you're trying to build a 99 card singleton deck. The statistics of how those decks operate are not going to be deeply intuitive. It's going to be difficult to understand how many you need of each type of thing you want to do. It's going to be very difficult to understand how likely you are to see any of your individual cards. Okay, got it all for 150. That's reasonable. Excellent. So I would look at precon deck lists and then see if there are any precon deck lists that you want to modify with the cards that you have in this now big collection. I love you too, Clintosaurus Rex on TikTok. Before trying to build your own deck from scratch. Because if you try to build your own deck from scratch, it... frankly, probably not going to work. And not even in a ha ha ha, it's so silly, at least I love it way. It's gonna like be a stillbirth type situation, which is really sad for everyone involved. So I would highly recommend looking at precons and then modifying a precon with this big collection. Bro, the people who say they don't like bans in general are losers. Just fucking look at the list if you can't remember shit. Yeah, I think people who say they don't like bans in general don't understand game design. What time did the deck roast start? In like 2 minutes. So Algebra, you're on the list. Are you in East Coast time zone if you're talking about a meeting at 3? Because it's noon for me. And so we will move things around to make sure we're respectful of your time, but I do want to understand the constraints I'm working in. So I have the order for today: Algebra 2, Wolf Slays, Irish Rager, and Kobylis. I think I've seen everybody but Irish so far. Oh, your PSD. You're going to be so good on that meeting, Goat. Your deck should be done in the next, like, 40 minutes. So thank you very much for the support. We are going... Irish is here. We have everybody here. Then I'm going to start the manual ad break. I'm going to put the card commissions live on Ko-Fi, and we're just going to get into the goddamn business. You're driving home. You have time. You're scheduled third. There should be a Pioneer version of Commander. Yeah, and we I couldn't think of a thing ridiculous enough to tack onto the end of that statement. No, I don't think we should make sandwiches out of dog shit. No, there should not be. Yo, Maltown Starbucks baristas just voted to authorize a massive strike by 92% majority. I fucking love Zoran posting, dog. Fucking love Zoran posting. Holy shit. I actually saw a good point made under a different video against the Rule Zero Commander ban excuse for taking those cards off Game Changer, and it's that even if the group is educated about how powerful a card is, it's not good to put the burden of balance on the players. It might not be good, I do think it's necessary. Oh, my fault, Lulu. I clicked away from... Alright, manual ad break. Lulu, thank you for the 5 real super chat. Hey, Maul, I picked a deck for my roast. Does something created to make Simic and Team Your players suffer sound interesting for you in the doghouse? Very. Cobalt, the only names I'm good at pronouncing are Twitch handles. That's it. So on the point of not good to put the burden of balance on the players, like, you do have to in a game like Commander, where it's not balanced around, like, the fun of Commander is not balanced around power, it's balanced around vibes. Some playgroups are not going to be bothered by certain things, and some playgroups are going to be highly bothered by certain things. And what the bracket system should do is make you mad. I'm going to be making a video about that. I stand on that point. The best thing the bracket system can do is make you come to a table worked up about what you do and do not want to play against. Because that is the best premise from which to start a conversation about what type of game we should play. Illogical Man, thank you for the Prime sub for the 5th month in a row. Welcome back to the dog home. Let me set this junk live on Ko-Fi. There are going to be separate tiers. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. It's gonna make me click so many buttons. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Boss, knowing what you know about me, would you rather I submitted a silly deck for review or something that legit needs improvements and edits? Give me the improvements. The Life of Shade, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home for the 5th month in a row. I'm at 5 myself. Keep it going. We're celebrating in New York and New Jersey on the process, working to the Republicans' worst interests. Hell fucking yeah. It was hilarious to me that Sliwa got so little of the votes. Cuomo getting so many votes is crazy. Like, what in the nani fuck? Do I need to sub for a deck review? I spent all my money on my deck. Trash Jungle, not necessarily. Most of the deck reviews are paid, but once a month we do a free deck review that is a raffle on Twitch. That's not happening today. Your next opportunity will be the beginning of September. From my perspective, being mad, especially pre-mad, is not a good starting point. Showing passion or energy doesn't have to be tinted with anger to get a conversation started. That is a good point, although I think that is a theoretical point that doesn't respect the fact that the easiest anger to feel is anger, and you can pretty quickly de-escalate from anger once you get to the table. And that's also why I use corrected to the phrase worked up. Like, sure, we can quibble about passionate instead of angry, but I think it is relatively obvious to say that if you show up to a Commander game already in a negative mood, that's going to be a bad game no matter what. Oh, December. My fault. September. I was thinking, I was going to promise first week of December, and a filter in my brain caught that and was like, I have plans the first weekend of December. Can't do that. Say beginning of the month instead. And then my brain did not feed me the rest of that sentence for beginning of the month. Wraith, thank you for the follow, and DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Watching establishment Dems hold up Zoran as a victory is such a cowardly bitch move considering how hard they worked against him the whole time. Yeah. I mean, establishment Dems are bitch made. We know this. They're cowards. Maybe except for like AOC and Bernie. Next free raffle coming in fall 2026. Look out, motherfuckers. So yeah, beginning of December will not be the first weekend of December. We typically do the free roast day on the first Saturday of a month, but I can't do it first Saturday of December. AOC is trash? Cap. Fucking cap. Do we know when the decision for hybrid mana will be? No, and I would say we're probably going to hear less than we are going to hear more. Because if they decide not to change it, we're just not going to hear an announcement about it. They might talk about it in like a stream or something. That's fair, Jonathan. I would say AOC has made it into the establishment, but is not an establishment Dem. Luke Simmons, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home. Thank you for the generosity. Veggie's joining tomorrow, but for now, we are pulling out Algebra 2's deck, which is a silly, spooky deck. Communism in deck form! More Zoran posting. Fucking amazing. Algebra. You copy-pasted the form link into your deck list section. You didn't send in a deck list. Algebra, please. Algebra, I'm begging you. Post your deck list in the Twitch chat right now. Algebra 2, please. You've failed Algebra 1. It's looking bad, Algebra 2. We're gonna revoke your degree, Algebra 2. There we go! Communism! You're going to hell, man. Oh my god, my stream deck's not up. No. I need the Vine Boom. This fucking... Alright, Mr. Gorbachev, what am I gonna fucking tell you? NKVD. What is... I just like to once again vocalize my support for Zoran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York. God damn it. Hold. Okay, you piece of shit. All right, so this is communism as described by a 90-year-old American man. Are creatures. Okay, reasonable. Are spells. Whenever a player plays an instant or sorcery card, remove it from the game, then that player copies each instant or sorcery card removed from the game with Eye of the Storm. For each copy, the player may play the copy without paying its mana cost. Knowledge Pool. Same thing as Eye of the Storm. Covet these nuts. I know for a goddamn fact, anytime you go on a group outing, you're either the person that doesn't have an opinion and only goes with the flow, or you're the person who only submits joke activities, like all smoking crack behind the Wendy's. Although, maybe you've done that once or twice based on this deck list. 12 basics, holy shit. Oh. Underfunded communism. We haven't even taxed the billionaires. Get me out of here, Stream Deck. What the fuck? I don't think we have confusion in the... Oh, we definitely have confusion in the right... Oh my god, you bitch. This is the most Republican deck I've seen in my entire life. Hey guys, what if I did a silly haha? What if I did a silly haha brought to you by me having every card in my deck, infinite mana, and I just fucked with you all the time? This is not communism. This is Elon Musk's eventual security state. This is the island that Zuckerberg bought. Okay, illusion of choice. Sure. Sure, okay. Less okay, but alright. The means of production. Turns and phases owned by the state. Oh my god. These... We have the confusion in the ranks has hit the fucking tower. The confusion in the ranks has hit the motherfucking tower. Holy shit. I just don't even want to imagine what the stack looks like in an average game with this deck. This feels like a shock collar ass deck. Like every single thing that's happening. It's silly because it's not meant to win. Like this deck is not... I think the only way this deck can win is if it draws Alexios and nobody draws removal. $1,200 on something. I mean, I guess our lands are like... Oh, our lands are half. We got fetch lands. We're fetching a basic land, and we have a fucking Triumph and Hope. We have never heard of multicolor mana. One time with Eye of the Storm, we got up to 1k spells on the stack. So how is life working out having the same personality as a Smash Bros. Stage Hazard? How, like... I found you. I found you, dog. Here's the fetch land speeding you up. Holy hell, man. All right, I just want to see how the deck... I mean, it's going to be low-key impossible to figure out how the deck plays in this playtest. Hey, don't look at my Verdant Catacombs, by the way. I mean, you can... There has to be some legal target in this deck, right? Because you can fetch green or black. Oh no, you have neither. Why do you have a fail to find? What? Are you some type of idiot, sir? Did you pick your Twitch handle based on the first class you failed? Based on the highest honor you ever reached? To steal someone's stuff? What? Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess you could... Does confusion in the ranks hit lands? No, artifact, creature, enchantment. Non-creature spell, non-land permanent. Set aside all cards in play. So it's possible... I got to geometry, and I believe you. So it is possible that with Thieves' Auction, you could give it to somebody else, but you take turns choosing. Do we have something that would like swap control of land? Piracy is hilarious, by the way. Shout out you for that. Joseph Stalin the game? That's crazy, Macy. I would also believe that you are so unfamiliar with building a land base, you just put in every fetch land because you were told they were good. I wouldn't be shocked by that. Based on the fact that we found triomes, shock lands, bond lands, and we know no other way to make 2 colors of mana, I would not be surprised if we just went, hey, fetch lands are really good. I'm going to put one of each in here. I'm going to put one of each in here. What's being fetched? Aspirations, Terrence. Dreams. I do not think this is true win conless stacks. I think it is really bad stacks, but there's at minimum 2 cards that could get the job done. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. This deck is as communist as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is democratic. Yeah, I mean, I think we cracked that nut the moment we saw Lavinia and creatures can't attack. Look, the land-based is not my finest work. Do you think any of this is? They would revoke your civil engineering degree for this wall, dog. All right, we get a mana rock. We get one of each basic. You're definitely keeping this hand. So we play Norin, turn 1. Hell yeah, we're the goats. Turn 2, I ramp because I'm a reasonable fucking person. Pramicon time. I choose left for obvious reasons. Got me reacting to that Twitch notification like a bank account security breach? Yeah. We land drop again. I cannot yet covet my jewel. I could mob verdict, but that doesn't do anything. I guess I choose Fate Spinner just to be super goddamn annoying. Everybody picks combat. There is now a low-level whining noise in the background of this LGS. Hell yeah, Prismatic Vista. I get one of my 8 million basic lands. I have 5 mana now. Fuck it, I covet some jewels. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. We have the goddamn thing now. I'm gonna presume nobody gets through because only one person can attack me and I have 2 assholes. I go Hive Mind. Can I do anything else? I could do Plea for Power. So now everybody gets all my spells. And then I put an extra turn spell in the stack. And then everybody shoots me. So everybody resolves a copy of Plea for Power. I'm going to assume that at this point in the social experiment, my friend group believes we can continue playing Commander. And so everybody's going to vote to draw 9. Everybody draws 9 cards. I am tapped out. The table is coming together like the Justice League to figure out how to kill me quickly, but only one person can do it unless they cast removal, at which point everybody else casts removal. I almost like it. I think I'm going to catch flack for that, but I almost believe in this deck. Like your land base is joke material in and of itself, but we have 40. So we're not going to miss land drops. Why would they want to kill me? I just gave them 9 cards. Yes, while also being the most annoying person in the world. while also being the most annoying interrupting person in the history of the world. I think what I dislike about this deck is that we are channeling random bullshit go without any of the karate skills of Moon Knight. Like Moon Knight and Deadpool are the energies that this deck is trying to follow in the footsteps of. We're trying to do like LOL so random. It's gonna get fucking crazy. I don't even know what's gonna happen. But the catch with those two is that at the end of the day, they just smack the fucking shit out of you. At the end of the day, they just fucking stab you. And we have the beginnings of something like that with Insurrection, with Disrupt Decorum, with Alexios. I believe less in Slicer. I think at like a lot of casual tables, it's like pretty possible that this guy doesn't stay big enough. And so I think what I dislike is we have a lot of things dedicated to random bullshit go. We don't have very many things dedicated to making sure we draw the cards that beat you to death. And the cards that do draw me into beating you to death feel incredibly condescending. Maybe that's the energy you're going for. If these are with longtime friends, that is the energy I would be going for. Oh, draw 3 rather than draw 9 on plea for power. It's more, not each. Thank you. I was reading it as expropriate. So they all just vote to draw 3. Same difference. So the things that... I hate these two cards. God, I get new lines on my forehead every single time I see these two cards. This looks like the kind of deck you play when you want to be disinvited from future game nights. I'm not sure it's that. This does look like the kind of deck you play when you are tired of playing Commander. Having played this deck, what usually happens is the stack gets so large there's no real way to resolve it correctly and then concede to avoid the aneurysm. Dog, what? This is my hostage situation deck. This is not my magic deck. This is my no more magic deck. Everyone else, not me. If your table calls that anything but a draw, you do not need a deck roast. You need group therapy. We'll speak to you directly, Algebra. If your table goes, oh, this is way too crazy to resolve, let's call it a game, and you go, that means I win, you need a doctor. You need to be under observation with those 3 people, and they probably need to be handcuffed, not you. Because once you get them talking, they are going to fucking get you. I mean, old head, it sounds like a fun time at the end of the night. This sounds like we're all getting tired. Our brains are mush. We don't actually want to play Commander anymore. We want to play Magic the Gathering cards in each other's face and then laugh a lot. Now, if you brought this deck to Gen Pop, you would have to move states. Caps Lock is a nightmare. Yo, I just checked the Ko-Fi for the custom card reviews, but they all sold out. Any chance more slots will be sold later on today? No more will be sold today, but more will be sold tomorrow. That sounds like the kind of game that makes me want to quit Commander entirely. That just means you haven't played one of like... I knew this deck was this Smash Bros. Stage because I have played Smash Bros. Stages like this unironically. For like 10 minutes. Now, for a long time, I don't have an intimate relationship with lava Smash Bros. Stages, but they are a fun distraction, and that is what this deck is. This deck is Algebra 2 sat down and was like, man, how can I make my entire table feel the same hurt I felt in Mr. Copeland's Algebra 2 class? It's the type of deck to make people stop complaining about your mono red aggro deck. Or maybe even more appropriate, this is Diogenes bringing in a chicken to say, behold a man. When somebody in your playgroup tried to talk about like what a commander deck needed to be. This is evil, it is hateful, it is probably funny exactly one time. This is the deck you pull out when someone you low-key hate tries to join the pod. I mean, it's the perfect deck for the right word. It's not whataboutism. It's the perfect deck for people who are trying to snake the bracket system. It's the perfect deck for somebody that is like, that cares too much about trying to win the game. Oh, this is... If you got somebody at your table who's playing bracket 2 and the most important thing in the world is perfect threat assessment and them winning, this is what's happening when you play this deck in their face. That's funny. That's a use case. You are going to hell if you ever bring it near me. But that is a sure as shit use case for this deck. But it is 100% Joseph Stalin the table. It's evil, it's heinous, there's a million ways we could fix it. The number one way, right after maybe making sure all of our fetch lands can hit valid targets, is deleting all of the non-lands and making new ones. Welcome to the Direct Help TV channel. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do to make it work, right? Somebody talked earlier about if the favorite card... If your favorite card in the deck is Hive Mind, that can convert into you actually winning the game if you do Final Fortune, because your copy will resolve last and you will be the one who loses the game last. So we could make this deck to win in a reasonable period of time. This seems like the type of deck Algebra's whipping out when they want to swap over to Eye of the Storm. Sorry, I meant the other card with the same... Oh, okay, they are meaningfully different. Hive Mind goes to everybody else. Eye of the Storm, you get everything before it. Okay. Okay, so Final Fortune will not work with this. Final Fortune will work with Hive Mind, but not with Eye of the Storm. Is there a reason we... I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to ask why we didn't build a good deck. Why we didn't build a good deck around that. But... I mean, I think there are ways you could build a deck around Eye of the Storm, but this is certainly not a deck built around Eye of the Storm. This is the Stanford Prison Experiment. And I don't think there are ways to improve it without materially changing what it is. I'm imagining you as like a Tom and Jerry-esque character, where I'm assuming if you ever play this deck, your playgroup knows and has consented to you playing bullshit, and the game is not who can win the commander game. The game is, can we beat Jason to death before he board locks us? When you sit down at a table and get asked, what are you playing? How do you even respond with this deck? You just say bullshit. You just say bullshit. Real sleepy guy, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Tremendous team building, though. The other three people at this table are never going to be closer together than right after the moment they put the last nail in the head. It's not even I'm not playing and neither are you. It's we're all going to play so much that we give up. We're all going to play so much that we give up rather than try to resolve any of this. Which, like, at bracket 3, known playgroup, okay. We got to keep this shit out of Gen Pop, or we are all in mortal danger. I think there are a million things I would do differently, but I think that's the beauty of torture, right? Is we all have to pick, no, there's a possibility storm. There's a whole section for those types of effects. Don't worry. Don't worry. We have possibility storm. We have dubscape. We have thieves auction. We got scrambleverse. Don't worry about it. We got it. We got it. This player doesn't want pain. They want a different game. This player was told, no, we're not allowed to play Sorry. We can't play Monopoly. We have to play Magic. Yeah, Hive Mind plus Warp World or Thieves Auction is usually a draw. 100%. Yes, that makes 100% sense. So if you wanted the deck to do its thing better, I think there's a lot of stuff that could be replaced with just better card draw because you're in Jeskai. But it does seem like all of these were handpicked to elicit a negative emotional reaction from the table. Like we went through a checklist of what are the things that piss my friend group off, and we just went, got it, got it, got it. We got like guys that beat you to death in Goad, great. We have collusion card draw, great. We have deck theft, great. We have everybody gets my stuff, great. We have being forced to play spells, great. We have goad, great. We have theft, great. We have watching somebody else fail to find a fucking basic land, great. Nor in the Wary, great. Rhystic Study, great. Smothering Tithe, great. I respond to you ramping by drawing a card, great. So there's a lot of stuff that we could do to make it better. Like personally, I think in terms of winning the game, Spectacular Showdown typically does better than Disrupt Decorum. And if this deck is working, your playgroup is playing slow enough that you don't need to be Disrupt Decoruming on turn 4. I think Showdown is also more interesting to have come down in a Hive Mind pile or even in a what's the other one? Eye of the Storm pile. You could, similar to Archivist of Ogma, there's the new Wan Shi Tong, who's very, very good. Whenever an opponent searches their library, he becomes bigger and you draw a card, but that does the same thing as Archivist of Ogma, basically. I felt like Disrupt Decorum was on theme for communism. As an interesting point of view you got. I would argue that Spectacular Showdown channels the same type of overall vibe, especially if we're going for Incite Rebellion and Insurrection, but I can't agree that Disrupt Decorum is not inappropriate for this type of Bolshevik revolution angle we're going for. I don't think a British guy playing the flute is... I don't think we necessarily have the strictest rules when it comes to adhering to everything has to be about communism. Same goes for the goblin that steals rings. Don't go for that one. Same goes for Wandering Archaic. Same goes for... You know communists don't have magical portals of making you do shit, right? So I think some of these are right on, and then I think there's some things where we're just like, yeah, this does a wacky thing. This does a wacky thing. I like wacky things. I'm gonna call it communist for the purposes of the deck. But I'm gonna try to leave it at there's a lot of upgrades you could do, but I think those upgrades would be made in the context of trying to make this deck play Magic better. And this deck is built to not play Magic. This deck is built to prevent Magic from being played. The goblin steals the means of production. Okay, fair. Tell me about the British man playing the flute. If you tell me communists build statues, I'm banning you from the Twitch channel. What's your defense? Like, we have some things, taxes and peace treaties. Okay. Hello, Zenorum. Thank you for the 9 months at tier 1. Welcome back to the dog home. Okay, so he is a guy that does taxes and peace treaties. Sure. When our definition is that broad, this is a headcanon ass deck, is really what I'm trying to get across. Like, we have a theme that is readily apparent to us, and I think it gets communicated relatively well. But we have built a deck that is meant to be more of an art piece than an actual functional thing that can play the game. And I think I hope the art lands well with your playgroup, because it's landing with me. I think it would not land well in Gen Pop at all. But all of that is just to say I hesitate to offer any upgrades, because most of the upgrades are going to bring it away from what it is, because I hate this type of deck in the depths of my soul. I am the type of person where the moment you recommend that this is the deck you want to play for the night, I'm going to go, guys, what about Yahtzee? What if we switched over to Mario Kart? Because we're hardcore griefing. When we play this. So I'm going to put you on... You're not lost in the sauce, because we have a dedicated goal, and we reach that goal. That goal is just not much better than being a high school dropout who cooks crack cocaine poorly. Fair, but as a thought experiment, what would you recommend? If I was going to recommend things, I would recommend that are the things that play out as B- cards or C+ cards should be replaced with things that let you get through the deck more quickly. Off Dome, I don't have good ones that are communist related, but as the approach that I would have for this type of deck is I would look at everything and go, okay, well, this one's wrong, so you have one cut off the rip. We have things that are meant to elicit an emotional reaction. We have very, very little meant to win the game. We have things that are meant to elicit an emotional reaction. So I would go through and think about, how well did these jokes land? If something did not land well as a joke, it needs to get subjected to the stock-up test or the Wan Shi Tong test or the test of anything that is going to allow me to draw more cards to get to the jokes that did land. You have to think of it like you are a comedian doing stand-up. If any of these have bombed, we can't just keep playing them in the hopes that they don't bomb. We have to move on to the next joke. And I'm talking about thinking of each game as one night of stand-up. If something's just not working, we can't just keep belaboring the point and circling around that one piece and then doing it over and over again. We have to go, all right, fuck, where's Confusion in the Ranks? They loved that one. I'll play Confusion in the Ranks. Or where's Balancing Act? Where's Alms Collector? Realistically, it's where the fuck is Ristic Study? I hesitate to recommend tutors for this type of deck because once you put tutors in this type of deck, it is the worst combo deck ever. So stuff that would be generally helpful are blue draw cards like Stock Up. Wan Shi Tong is one card in particular that would be a relatively good draw engine for you if people are regularly searching their libraries. Let's see, we're in Jeskai. You could try to go for some like I could see this being tagged as disinformation campaign or like propaganda campaign. You could do group hug card draw. Group hug card draw is going to make this much more accelerationist. And if that's something you're open to, then I would recommend things like Howling Mine. I think Zenith Chronicler is generally appropriate. Palantir of Orthanc might be a little for a deck that's already evil communism. Oh yeah, Telepathy would be a good funny card, but people might genuinely hate this one too much. Right now I'm trying to imagine this deck as a race against time, and Telepathy is like turn 1, everybody's mad at me for the rest of the game. This at least is like a slow roll to some type of handcuff situation where they concede. We have Descent into Avernus already. I'm trying to think if wheels are communist. Hey, thank you, Seiji. I appreciate that. Telepathy doesn't do anything. I direct you to all of the cards in this deck and how the main thing they do is cause mental anguish. Oh, Factor Fiction got a Daily Bugle art. You could do Prisoner's Dilemma, yeah, but Prisoner's Dilemma is one of those that is much more towards how do I bring the game towards a close that does not involve conceding, which does not seem to be the angle. The angle seems to be at some point I'm going to create a stack that is so complicated we're going to have to concede, and the point is to be wacky on the way to there. Okay, then put fucking Telepathy in. DMC, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. You look my mono blue deck in the eye, chatter, and tell me Telepathy does nothing. Its primary function is to make people angry. Phyrexian Censor's not going to be... I don't think Phyrexian Censor or Rule of Law effects will be appropriate because we want the stack to get outrageous. We want it to get crazy. Alec, I think, but it is an equal redistribution of wealth when you think of cards. Like if I cast Wheel of Fortune, I have equally redistributed the number of cards in everybody's hands. Now everybody has 7. Now we're even. I don't know if Price of Glory will fit that well. Yeah, Windfall has the art to go along with this. Like, everybody's rich now. Why are you all mad? Why is everybody scowling at me? I made you all rich. That's also true. If we allow paying mana to be an argument against the spell being communist, then no spell in the deck works. I don't think this deck is running day-night just to make people angry. Maybe we could do that. Let me look at day-night. What's the best card we could put in? Celestis is super generic. We could do Vadric. How many instants and sorceries? We have, oh, only 18. Okay, never mind. Fuck that guy. Brutal Cathar would be a genuinely good removal piece. Well, a genuinely okay removal piece, which... Okay, if we think wheels would fit, then I would mostly recommend a change to the card advantage situation, because what I would really not like to see on a deck like this is if you get stuck while trying to accelerate the game, that blows. Like, we get Archivist of Ogma. We don't get people searching their libraries. We can do Descent. That's pretty good. We get 2 treasures. And we have our favorite card in the deck. Now we're kind of in waiting mode. I guess we get our commander out just to do it, so that people can't fuck with us. So we have a lot of money, and we go Eye of the Storm. And then the rest of our hand is communism jokes. And actually, I think this... not total game lock, but the moment I resolve this card, and then the next turn I play Insurrection, then I think everybody concedes. And I believe this is the closest you get to all of the, like, super happy brain chemicals, right? We get to shit out a ton of money. I get to put my commander down. I get to cast Eye of the Storm, and then I get to put people in a truly impossible to resolve Clown Fiesta. Yeah, it is your circus. It is your monkeys. Nobody wants to do it. We all go have pizza. Confetti falls from the ceiling. And so I would just take the things that don't contribute as well to that and cut them for things that do. I think piracy is a good example of that. I think piracy is an okay joke. It's an okay joke and a bad card. There are some things that are bad cards, but are pretty great jokes. Like, Share the Spoils. Not wildly effective, but super on brand. Coveted Jewel. Risky card that costs $1 million. I think kind of on brand for the type of chaos. I don't know if it's super on brand for communism, unless we're doing like weird old Russian communism. Wandering Archaic is like a fine card, but this is really more... it's more about effective than it is about... like, this is actually one for me that I would cut, because it's not landing tremendously for the joke, and it is way less crazy than the spells that we want to cast, which are things like Hive Mind or Eye of the Storm or Knowledge Pool. And then these 3 things are all fine, but again, I find like Disrupt Decorum is a little bit on the weekend. Fucking hate Norin the Wary, but I do get the bit. Archivist of Ogma is another place where I think we're beginning to stretch the lines that allow it. It's like, oh, it's a guy with books, therefore he works for the state. We can do that with pretty much anything. We can do that for damn near anything. I think same goes for the Second Doctor, but the Second Doctor's on-board effect is at least better at perpetuating this idea of I'm making trade deals. And then there's things like Tariff. Sucks. Pretty bad card. Pretty bad card. Great bit. So that's something that gets to stay on account of perpetuating the joke more than it's perpetuating the game state. I think Mangara the Diplomat, it's fun. It's decent card draw. Pretty good bit for a communism deck. Illusion of Choice is funny, but is really bad unless we have one of these other cards already in our hand. Coercive Portal, really don't like. This is a 4-mana card draw engine that does not really contribute to the communism bit, other than it has a voting mechanic on it. But like, this feels another stretch like Wandering Archaic. Ooh, land tax is a good point. I do think land tax would be a pretty fucking funny on theme thing that is very very good for you. Turns and phases owned by the state. This entire tag section is kind of weird. This one seems like maybe the biggest thematic stretch the deck is making. Like, this one is for sure... I can almost see it. It's like... But this is more of a dictatorship bit than it is a communism bit. And so if we want to do like, oh, this is North Korean communism or communism under Joseph Stalin specifically, sure. But these don't contribute to the main bit very well at all. These are just random annoying guys. Wandering Archaic is the communal jerk servant boss. I mean, sure. I just don't think that just doesn't land for me personally. And this tag also does not land super high for me. Now that is piracy. Like, Manichae, sure. Alms Collector, sure. Blatant Thievery is funny. I think most things in wealth redistribution outside of piracy make some kind of sense. They may not be the most apt allegory for communism in the Magic world, but I can at least see the vision and I get the vibe off of it. I'm missing the vibe on this tag. And then I think we have a few scant ones where they fit into the bit fine, but not great. And anything that fits in fine but not great, I would try to switch out for things that are going to accelerate the game more, either through card draw or extreme violence in the case of things like Spectacular Showdown. And then I think the race can be a little bit more on, because the last thing you want is a slow game with this deck. You want a deck where you are rocketing towards the Bolshevik Revolution, and if the revolution is successful, everybody should be dead or have left. We do not want a situation where you have installed glorious communism, but not everybody's participating, and you don't yet have the means to force them to participate. I do think, regardless of what you do, 100% a containment zone deck. If you ever bring this in Gen Pop, I do not know you. We never spoke. I will not pay your bail. In a dedicated play group, late at night, I get it. I get it. I'm with you. But that algebra is going to be where we end this deck. I hope you enjoyed your roasting. We're going to go back to the manual ad break, and then it's time for Wolf. I'm going to get up and get some water. But I think the best cards in particular are Land Tax, Communist Librarian, and I really like Spectacular Showdown. I'm just going to say it. Man looks like a revolutionary. We can find a photo of this. I swear to God, we can find an IRL photo of this. Tales of the Ancestors would be good if it was not here already. Oh, this would also be decent wealth redistribution. I worry about our ability to make this one draw us enough cards, mainly because we don't hand vomit. We typically, the two playtests I did, my God, the two playtests I did, we were getting stuck in hand with really expensive things that we like weren't in the right position to cast. Algebra 2, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. But you can consider this card if your IRL gameplay has ended differently than our playtest did, and you do find yourself empty-handed quite a lot. Tales of the Ancestors would be that's another very good wealth redistribution, Tales of the Glorious People's Republic. We love stealing from Jeffy B. Okay, I gotta get water. I'll be right back. All right. We have returned. Would you play Zedru or make Zedru the commander? I was thinking about it, but I like Pramicon. I think Zedru mandates that you change too much of the deck, because in the current iteration of the deck, you don't really have many things that you want to give away. It is, really, this is Stalin-esque communism. It's all going to be horrible, we're going to give up, some of you are going to die, and I have a big wall. And if it becomes Zedru, you can keep the endpoint as, okay, I go Hive Mind Scrambleverse, but so much about the deck has to change into a bad thing you give away that I think it's going to be really difficult to navigate the communist jokes in that sense. Because, like, if you go, oh, Ristic Study, but haha, communism, I'm going to give away Ristic Study, that's just you conceding the game. You know, you give away Treasure Nabber, it's you conceding the game, and Treasure Nabber is a good bit. I think same goes for Mangar the Diplomat. So I think you could have a different version of this deck that was Zedru. With this version of the deck, it should be Pramicon. And with no further ado, let's move on to Wolf. This is a pure silly deck. This is Hound Kindred, made specifically for Mauled Hound, the Hound deck. This was made by my VIPs, so we are going to get an inside look into the brilliant minds of some of the people who listen to my advice the most. All right, we have Sophia, who we can turn artifact tokens into counters on dogs. So it should be incredibly difficult to fuck this up. That's a very good effect. King Cow says, I'm not associated with this. What is the primer? We hope this deck can win Mauled Hound over through his hatred for green, Bant, Kindred, and counters. This is bracket 2 silly. It used to have counter synergy, but we have gotten rid of them. Absolutely, Algebra. Thank you for submitting. All right, we got the dogs out. We have bestest boys. Are these really the bestest boys you could find? Enoch Wayfarer. I mean, he's cute. A 2/2 with vigilance. You're eyeing bracket 1 greedily. Battalion. I have never seen this mechanic in my life. So if I throw all my dogs at you into what is surely their death, my 2/2 gets lifelink. Amazing. A 2-mana 3/3 with vigilance. Amazing. Mushroom. Ooh, flicker and a counters deck. Tremendous. Boss Scryfall, that stuff. Dogs aren't supported that much compared to cats. That's why I don't like Kindred! Shocking alert! I don't support racism! Breaking news! Local Magic creator not a fan of segregation. Come in here. We hope this deck can win you over on Speciest Enclaves, Mauled. Please and thank you. That's... My first deck was a dog deck for my puppy girl GF, and I fell to my knees when it wasn't possible. They just like puppies. Nope, they just like puppies. I'm not opening that. Okay, Torgal rocks. Traveling Botanist is fine. Respect. All right, respect on your name for not using all the goddamn changelings. I think the thing a good deck. It's a good deck. It's a good deck. Dog houses, great tag. Why are the dog houses shitty? Why do we have the most fucking whatever dog houses of all time? Where are my utility lands? Why can't the dogs have enrichment toys on their lands? Draw. Honorary best girl. That, listen, man, she got the dogs. Ouch. I do not grant her the race of sorry. Well, no, race of hound because it's creature type. No, my brain did go to the right place. Fuck you. I was right. The rank of hound either. Volo is anti-kindred. This is a straight up non-bow. This is a deck with one creature type that says when you cast a creature type, note its creature type, and I only get to draw a card for each different creature type noted. He's the shittiest dog keeper ever. I always talk about the important part of kindred is where you break kindred, and we've broken kindred for a downgrade. They have different creature types? How many? I see 35 dogs. Now I see a lot of creature types, notably, many of them are one-offs. So we're hoping to get soldiers, we're hoping to get elementals, mounts. All right, we'll see. We'll see. I don't trust you for a moment, but we'll see. Yeah, Distant Melody, Kindred Discovery of Coursework, Make Bestest Boys Stronger. This is, I was thinking about Banner of Kinship angrily today. I truly believe that this card would, like, it is a good mechanical card to put in. I think when you are trying to make a flavor deck, the moment you reach for Banner of Kinship, Door of Destinies, Coat of Arms, that is you waving the white flag on the deck. I think it is because, like, if we're going to have a Kindred deck that feels like a creature type in Magic the Gathering, I feel like it should be achieving something special that transmits the flavor of that creature type. And as soon as we reach for Banner of Kinship and Door of Destinies, it's us saying, well, the flavor of this creature type is I have 5 of them. That doesn't make it a bad card, particularly in bracket 2. Like, in bracket 2, sure, combat's good. If you want a deck that will win the game and it's a Kindred deck because you like the creature type personally and you just want to look at dogs while you play Magic, hell yeah, that works. But from a perspective of, like, this is my deck where I bring the dogs out, man, and then I start playing music and I'm doing a whole bit, the jazz music stops instantly. Might as well play a Craterhoof at that point. Correct. That's what it is. And I don't think you are, like, morally objectionable just for playing a Craterhoof. I think it's morally objectionable to play Craterhoof when you want it to be a narratively driven experience. Makes a bestest boy. Perfect. Perfect. This is a good dog walker. Great dog walker. Protect our bestest boys. That's very... Imagining a bunch of dogs in dresses is extremely hilarious, so that works. Well, you can't beat many of the other decks with more streamlined strategies with a 2/2 and some silly abilities to just get squashed even in bracket 2. Right. So I'm saying some decks shouldn't exist. Okay, and we also have some ramp. God, I can't bear to look at a 6 mana 6/5 with trample. Sure. The removal exists. Sideboard just to make me angry. Okay, let me see how this functions. So we get Cavern of Souls turn 1. Oh, and I would have drawn this for turn 1. Excellent. I get a dog. He has a counter on him. Humans gain indestructible. Amazing. You're a fucking race traitor. I get an island. Next turn. I pass my third turn. Okay, thank fuck. I do Sophia. I now create Tiny. I saddle the district mascot with Tiny. I have successfully put a dog on top of another dog in turn 4 of this commander game. With not a hint of irony in my voice. I swing a 1-1 that becomes a 2-2. He dies immediately. You can't cast her, she's a human, not a dog? Then pretend I grabbed the right basic dog. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm too hurt. You're not stopping me. We're casting the commander right now. The corgi's fucking dead. I do Spirited Companion. I draw a card. Oh boy, a 5 mana 3/4. Joy. Oh boy, oh jeez, oh god, oh fuck. Oh, this dog sucks. This dog cares about humans. We don't care about humans. Fuck the humans. Alright, I shared roots. I get another island. I hate it here. I hate it here. It's turn 6. I have a 1-1, a 2-2, and a 1 and a 3-4. I'm so fucking sad. Okay, counters give me first strike. That matters. I go Einok Bondkin. I send Tiny in, and I beast within whatever blocks him. So that means I get a clue and a food now, as is my right. As is my fucking right. I get a clue and a food, and now I can do something. And over the course of the next turn, I would have sacked the food. All my dogs have counters on them. So now all my dogs have first strike. I draw the Buster Sword, which is sick as fuck. I strap it to Tiny. Tiny's a 6/5 now? Tiny's a 6/5. He goes crazy. I'm gonna hope that I hit because nobody wants to resist me at this point. I blow up the most problematic thing. It's turn 8. And then I get a clue and a food again. So now it begins to work. Now it begins to work. As long as I have artifact tokens to sacrifice to these dogs, this is really just a like go wide board state. So what I think is a success is you guys did do a great job of finding 36 cards that say dog on them. Sorry, 41 cards that no, 36 cards that say dog on them. That was awesome. You did a really good job of finding 36 cards with dog on them. I dislike where we have broken kindred. I guess Kennel Keeper is like okay for this guy. What I would really like to see is a deck that feels much more like I'm being attacked by a police canine unit, which is quite the sentence, but if we think about kindred and we think about a kindred deck evoking the spirit of whatever kindred it's dealing with, I feel like a dog deck should feel like a ravenous pack of dogs is attacking you. And when a ravenous pack of dogs attack, or even like one tiny dog attacks you, I feel like it's not, oh, they get me, you know, they get me with overwhelming force. It's, they're so fast and stupid, and they just run you down really quickly. And then because they've put you off balance, like God forbid you fall down while being attacked by dogs, because then you're dead. And I think what would channel that more, and I'm going to pull up a card that I don't think deserves to go in the deck, but is the type of deck or is the type of card that I immediately began thinking about. As I said, should not go in the deck because I hate counters. But I think what the deck is missing, I think what the deck should be breaking Kindred for is more things that benefit from dealing combat damage. Because what I'm looking at is we have a bunch of shitty tempo creatures. Right, and I said this card shouldn't go in the deck specifically. But I think the energy is not, okay, let's break Kindred to refill our hands. Let's break Kindred to go over the top. Somebody can't understand the sentence, you shouldn't put this in the deck. So like bread for the hunt. Let me look at bread for the hunt. It dissatisfies me because I don't want this to devolve into a +1/+1 counters deck, because then it's just fucking Titus. Then this is just a fucking Titus deck. Beastmaster Ascension would be good, yeah. But they're hunting dogs? Sure. But the narrative has to meet mechanics at some point. The narrative has to intermingle with the actual gameplay pattern, and if you have a good narrative, but the mechanics are the exact same thing as every other deck that you're trying to set yourself apart from, the narrative stops mattering as much. Is that not the same as Door of Destinies, though? I would say it's meaningfully different. For Door of Destinies, I don't have to meaningfully succeed in any way for this to work. For Door of Destinies to work, all I have to do is I cast the door, I continue to cast my own creatures, and then they're just better than yours. Something like, an example of why something like Sphere Grid is closer, I at least have to effectuate a positive outcome. I have to do the thing that the dogs are meant to do, which is attack you viciously. Door of Destinies is not a deck about a dog attack squad. Door of Destinies is a deck about dogs fucking a lot. And Sphere Grid is like the closest it gets without really being a cigar for me. And I think the underlying issue is that all of the things that this deck could do, which are like make artifacts, turn those artifacts into counters on my board, those are all done so much better by so many things that aren't dog kindred that I begin to doubt we can even effectively do dog kindred in this way, because the moment we begin supporting it, the support is more important than the dogs. And that's also when I begin to dislike kindred decks, or not dislike, but find them uninteresting, which doesn't mean you can't play them, but it's where I lose interest in playing them. Naraki, I cannot judge that off of the one sentence. We will see when we see. I've seen your videos for quite a while, Mauled, and I sometimes struggle to see your criteria emerge. Door of Destinies, Banner Coat, Kindred, Discovery, Banner are all cheat codes. Can you elaborate on that point? Because I think a pretty common confusion is I don't have a very strict criteria because we're painting here. We're doing art. We are not scientifically upgrading decks to make them work well. I'm trying to identify the creative vision behind a deck and then optimize to that creative vision. So there are some times where a card would be good, would be great, would do exactly what the deck wants to do. Very much like Sphere Grid. And would not kill God in terms of how steep a departure it was from whatever holy scripture the deck is working off of, but the vibe's just not right. Would switching the commander to Rin and Seri with just dogs to get better dogs? That would be terrible. The only thing giving this deck a hint of emotion is the fact that this is Sophia. So I think we go Saboteur, we go Commander, green, blue, white. Is not creature. I want to see if there are non-creature Saboteur effects. Okay, is not the keyword. Who knows? Who knows how I search for something not being a creature? Minus is. Thank you. Oh, it's just not. All right, there we go. So we could do a canine unit where we're giving them equipment. We're already doing that with the Buster Sword as a joke, but we could just strap a bunch of swords to them. Hunter's Insight seems like the right type of card. We obviously have a cat on the card, which we would have to Sharpie over, but it is appropriate energy. I don't really think Coastal Piracy works. Bird Heirloom could be a genericized thing that does work in here. I don't know if dogs can pilot a boat. Keen Sense could do it. That's relatively dog appropriate. Again, don't think dogs are great with boats. I think this imagery is fucking hilarious. All of you have seen the TikToks of dogs in socks. All of you have seen the TikToks of dogs in socks. I don't think we're making robots. I don't think we're making people. I don't think Imposter Syndrome is going to do anything that meaningful for us because all the dogs suck in base, and we're trying to make the dogs good by putting a bunch of counters on them. This seems appropriate. It plays into the artifact generation theme. It gives us more artifacts to make. It gives us more stuff to perhaps sacrifice to Sophia when she comes down. Plays into the Scooby-Doo energy. We could do something like Family's Favor to make the attacking better. Again, all the good cards have cat arts on them. But I think there's some type of like family pet angle here. Curious obsession fits dogs. Have you seen them go after buttholes? Have you walked a dog when it finds a particular stench? You are not stopping that motherfucker. And so I think it's stuff like this where we need to be playing into the idea that the dogs are like low to the ground, obsessive and aggressive, and our payoffs are for jumping you before you are ready to fight and trying to put you off balance. Yeah, Sophia's Shaggy, Tiny Scooby. I think that's good, but I do think it still has to be like, it does still have to be a lot of dogs. Because if we do Shaggy and Scooby, then it becomes bad Voltron, and then we're unhappy. And then we're unhappy both ways. Dogs can't fish, unfortunately. Oh, and then we're just out of stuff. Yeah, so like this may end up in a situation where the bench just isn't deep enough for exactly what we want to do without it devolving into a counter deck. So it may end up dipping its toes back into being a counter deck a little bit. Because personally, I don't like bracket 1 decks unless they're like super fucking weird. Or I just wouldn't play a bracket 1 deck unless it was super fucking weird. And hey, this is a bunch of dogs is bad. It's bad enough for bracket 1. I don't think it's weird enough for me to like want to go out of my way to play bracket 1 Magic. And for this to be spooky, Reconnaissance would fit the detective theme and would help a lot. But I think that's where the payoffs have to go. Is we have to imagine like if the dream world is I play an early dog and they get combat damage in, we need that combat damage to pay off. And I really fucking hate that Sphere Grid just keeps coming back around as like the best thing we could put in this deck, because I really don't want it to be a 1/1 counters deck. But Sphere Grid may weasel its fucking way back in here. Horn of the Mark is great. Hunting Horn? Perfect. Absolutely. Cases could fit the Scooby-Doo theme, but then they need to be good. The dogs would be too big, I believe. Unless this says base. No. Because the point, like, the thing is, the payoff for our dogs is we're putting 1/1 counters on them. So those are my judgments and my recommendations. I think you have found hounds, but you have not made me feel hounds. I do appreciate all of the work you all are collectively putting into this Hound Kindred deck. But I do think it has to go back to the drawing board, and you must meditate upon the vibes of dog. You must meditate further upon the vibes of what dog is, and what dogs seek to be. I don't like that. I fucking hate Changeling. Before I saw Changeling, I would rather see you do something that's just not the creature type, because there is a flavor reason to include them. Blitzball could be funny, yeah. Like, yeah, if you're ever putting a Changeling in your Kindred deck, just put in a thing that's not the creature type that is at least interesting. Before we start putting in the like generic good stuff changelings. So Wolf, thank you very much for submitting. Yeah, you could have like dog catchers, dog walkers, dog feeders, dog trainers. There's a million things that are connected to the idea of dogs. We already talked about horns. We talked about being bred for the hunt, which is just a fucking concept attached to dogs. It's really broad. We do not have to use changelings. Dog what, Naraki? We're going to the ad break. It'll be a shorter ad break. And then next up, Irish Rager. Are you home from your drive? If you're not, it'll be Cobillis. But if you are, I will see you in 90 seconds. Ace, I cannot review your deck today. The decks we are reviewing today came from Ko-Fi commissions, but we do free reviews once every month. Perfect. Irish, you will be up next. Yeah, we are 0 for 2 on making it to the pyramid today. But I will be right back. Okay, we're back. I don't even hate Wolf. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed. All right, Irish Rager is here. Old Bush Bill, thank you very much for the Twitch follow. And Alpha, thank you for the Twitch follow as well. Oh my god, I missed a raid from Jay Arlington. Holy shit. I'm so stupid and also sorry. Damn it. We're gonna do a very late shout out. We're gonna do a very late shout out. Well, keyboard, you'll be happy to know I'm now much more disappointed in myself. I'm now much more disappointed in myself for being an idiot who can't read good. Sorry, the domestic distracted you. I was just staring at dogs. I was just staring at fucking dogs, man. Okay. Live and learn and fuck up. We're going to Irish Rager's deck, a spooky deck. The entire primer says, make as much mana as possible with Roxanne to cast a spell to win. We do have a section where we let people send in, what effects do you love too much? What are your pet cards? What are the things that you enjoy too deeply? And they said, the doublers are too valuable to cut. The only thing in this world I love is getting twice as many of something. What's my pet card? The Chase Business Sapphire. Thank you very much. I get double points for purchases made while traveling internationally for business. You son of a bitch. Okay, let's strap in. Game plan is simple. Make meteorites fling damage. It's more silly than spooky. A lot of times I'm able to do the thing. The deck runs out of gas fast, and I know I need to find more card draw to add. This is technically bracket 2 because deflecting SWAT is no longer a game changer. Our best card was you going, no, please! Please, somebody else! Get someone else! Okay. So, alright. How on earth did you run out of room for card draw in a deck that is just the commander and doublers? Big mana dump. Okay, so we for the common good, we make a million meteorites. Bang, 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 bang. Hell to pay. Garbage. Comet Storm. Good. Draco with power. Good. So 3 for 4, 75%. That passes high school. Find rocks, question mark. Oh, is this your whole draw section? Doom Gear, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home. Or load, oh, wow, and we've put ramp in there too to make it look bigger. A common green player activity. All right, so we have 5 pieces of ramp, which not enough. So it seems like we're also trying to do treasures. So we're not just trying to make meteorites. Can I take back my gifted subs? No, you're never getting your fucking money back. All right. So we're ramping. We have a few things that make treasure. We have one spell that is card positive. Yeah, we have one spell in the deck that's card positive. Amazing. Made of rocks, 34 lands, of course. Of course. But Treasure Vault certainly makes a certain type of sense. Makes rocks. Alright, so we have more artifact ramp. We have treasure generators. We have copium. Okay, we make us a rock. We have deep, deep copium. Deep copium. We make more treasures. More treasures, more treasures, more treasures. Fuck, man. Can we just put a bootlegger's stash in here and call it a day? Why do we gotta do all this shit, man? I understand the theme. I understand the theme perfectly. It's probably there. I probably just scrolled past. Oh, it is there. Never mind. Okay. Not free rocks. Good. We have some degree of acceleration. Jaheira works well. Rock protection. Rocks hurt. Rocks win. Okay. This is where I'm going. Yeah. All right. This is where I'm going to begin questioning the ability of the deck to achieve what it wants to do. Because what the deck wants to do is buy an illegal quantity of fireworks. And it wants to set off an illegal quantity of fireworks in their neighbor's garage. That's funny, objectively. I think where we're getting distracted is we then went, okay, well, I'm not always getting the exact card that I want to get, and so I need to have backup ways to win. And so I'm going to go into pingers. And if I'm going into pingers, I need damage triplers, of course. And if I have damage triplers, presumably we get even more confused. And then here's more damage doublers. Yes. Amazing. Yes. Yes, truly. Truly, truly, truly. First recommendation, and this is going to be hard depending on how old you are, I think you care a little bit too much about money. Displaced Dinosaurs is awesome. That will work really, really well with Treasure Generation. We have committed a quarter of this deck to treasures. If a friend came to you and said, yeah, I recently redid my investment portfolio and 25% of their money was invested in Bitcoin. I realize it's a silly game, but silly doesn't have to mean stupid. And I think a lot of space that could be used to draw into our cards that win the game, or at least draw into cards that make us a shitload of meteorites, are currently getting taken up by like relatively weak treasure generators. Captain Lannery Storm is not great. She is like okay at best. Hebo is fine. Bro is hanging out. I can see City of Death being fun if you do like City of Death, then the turn after I copy a treasure token and I play Commander, and then the next 4 turns I get to copy meteorites every turn. Sick nasty. I love it. That's great. In every other world, if we're just making more treasures, and especially like alchemist talent, we had a really tight plan that our commander was supporting. We had the really tight plan of I'm gonna play my cat lady, I'm gonna be her little kept boy, and she's gonna make all the money and blow everybody up. That's great. And then we've gone, what if I had to recreate that in the aggregate? Like, you're doing the Moneyball strategy without losing your high tier batter. You're going, okay, well, what if all of my deck was dedicated to doing what Roxanne can do by herself, but redoing it needlessly? And so what I would recommend doing is really gutting everything that is just an okay treasure generator, either for things that get Roxanne sooner, protect Roxanne, or allow Roxanne to make additional meteorites. And then I think you will have a much more enjoyable time. Because like Academy Manufacturer, okay, we're just getting, like, all of your things make treasure anyway. We're just making clues and food on top of treasures we already had, and the clues and food do nothing for us unless we've hit one of these pingers, or unless we've hit displaced dinosaurs. But if we just hit displaced dinosaurs with our meteorite maker, we're already happy. And so it's this unnecessary, it's like 1 inch of cake, 10 inches of frosting, is what I'm currently feeling. And like Hellkite Tyrant, if we had 20 artifacts that could make mana, we do win the game. It's called Napalm. We have the win condition. Kazuichi, thank you for the 35,000 IDR. I do not know the currency or the conversion rate, but I appreciate the foreign currency jump scare. Make more treasure. No. No. Clues are draw and food works with Peregrine Took for card draw. See, these are the rationalizations of a madman. These are true statements that you have used to convince yourself into playing, used to delude yourself into playing terrible, terrible cards. We have Peregrine Took in this fucking deck? Like, you're in trouble. You're not helping yourself. Yeah, man, listen. Listen, dog. Indonesian rupiah. Thank you very much, Kazuichi. So we have, similar to how we had a strategy with our commander, and we went, how do I recreate this strategy in the aggregate? You went, okay, there are cards that draw me cards. But what if instead of a card that drew me cards, I played a card that could only draw me cards if I made a bunch of tokens with a different card? And then you did a little dance and you started scatting and you were like, yeah, I got it. The world's not ready. I'm not saying that you can't find joy in that, but if we're investigating, oh, why does this deck gas out? It's because instead of like an intake system in your engine, you have some type of Minecraft funny farm that feeds into it, when we should just be playing things that do the direct thing we want. And so personally, I feel like Peregrine Took probably came in around the time we brought in these guys. Like, we probably played, I think the most plausible, not the only plausible sequence of events, but the most plausible is we made the deck, we noticed it was fragile to Roxanne getting removed, and we went, okay, I need different things that can do this. And you were like, I want to make a lot of treasures, and so I need an alternate win con if I don't draw into Comet Storm. So I'm going to have all these pingers. And then if I'm going to have all these pingers, it would be good to have additional artifacts. And then if I'm going to have all these additional artifacts, oh, I can use them for card draw. And these are the types of like second and third order combinations that I think actually detract from casual decks a lot. You can start to do those when the machine is really, really, really reliable. But as it stands, if we draw Peregrine Took without drawing a token doubler or Academy Manufacturer at the right time, or if any of them get removed, or if we just get like collateraled by a board wipe, God forbid we have to block with the motherfuckers, the machine breaks down very, very quickly because we're not just doing things like I mean, like goddamn hard casting Harmonize is one of the better plays this deck has. We do not need to Spiteful Banditry Post. We can, but I think the deck is improved bodily and immediately by taking all of the things that are lower tier treasure generators and just shoving more meteorites in it. I'm even like, fuck a good card. Ortheon. Make one extra Roxanne a turn. I sack her immediately to the legend rule, but I don't care because I get an ETB trigger. Some of you are going to be like, that's not very good. That better than where we're at. More reliable than where we're at. This works with just the commander. And if they don't interrupt me, I can make 5 Roxannes the turn after. That's 10 meteorite damage. That's a massive fucking... That's 10 meteorite damage and then like 20 mana the turn after. So these are the types of plays that I would be looking for if I was aiming to... If I was aiming to kill people with a geology degree. If I wanted them to feel the power of having rocks hucked at their head. Oh yeah, he's still weak because he's 4 mana, but if you go like if you ramp into him, then Roxanne, it's not that. And we're playing the gosh damn fire crystal. We're playing the goddamn earth crystal. Which, Jesus! We don't even have counters in this deck. We just have... For maybe cost reduction in a deck that should be shitting mana like it has food poisoning? Okay, so I'm going to go through and I'm just going to pick all the things that I think are lower grade bait that we shouldn't be playing as much. Hell to pay. Rampant growth. Probably Nature's Lore and 3 visits on top of it. But not necessarily. Captain Lannery Storm. Academy Manufactor. Ebo. Replicating Ring. Reaver Cleaver. Tireless Provisioner. Alchemist Talent. Brass's Bounty. Earth Crystal. Reckless Fireweaver, Ingenious Artillerist, Hellkite Tyrant. Peregrine Took. Yeah, those are the ones that I think are low tier. Okay, that's because Shiny Giant Rocks felt flavorful to me. That makes sense. If you want to keep that as a pet card just on an aesthetic basis, Bracket 2 is perfect for keeping that as a pet card on an aesthetic basis. And again, it's not that these cards don't do the thing. I think they do the thing meaningfully worse than drawing into a card that does the thing better. That is an important distinction here. I do think Magda the Horde Master could be decent for treasure generation. I like that it works with the commander. I don't like that outside of the commander we don't have a shitload of crimes, but let me see how this currently plays. Exile cycling, anything I said was bad. So these two cards don't exist. Great. We keep this. We go Fire Garden, Birds of Paradise. Next turn. We go Forest, Crash Out, because I don't have 3 mana ramp. Crash Out again, because I didn't have enough ramp in my opening hand, but I get a Mountain. Play Parallel Lives. Inventor's Fair, Commander, double Meteorite. I get 4 damage somewhere. Relatively happy. Whether or not Roxanne gets shot, if she gets shot, that's actually fine for us because we've paid for her commander tax with this. Bam, bam. We go... Actually, I swing my commander. Oh, I make a tapped meteorite, so yeah, I can't use it. I make 2 more meteorites. Huzzah. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6. And I go Bootlegger's Stash. My lands can now make treasures. I make 6 treasures. Huzzah! I go to my next turn. And now I look, see, I have hell to pay. I have one of my X-Spell payoffs. And it means nothing because I cannot shoot a man directly in the chest. I cannot shoot a man directly in the chest. I cannot convert these into copies of Roxanne. I can do the very powerful thing of casting City on Fire. So now my meteorites deal 6. That's relatively scary. But we're missing card draw, and we're missing the last piece of conversion. And so, as a thought exercise, what I would like to put to you is the idea that right now you would want to draw Peregrine Took versus Harmonize. It's probably attractive to draw, in this position, it would be attractive to draw Hellkite Tyrant. It would be attractive to draw Ingenious Artillerist or Reckless Fireweaver, because then we're pinging for 3, and I can play them, and I can tap these lands to make 12 more treasures, and then I would ping the table for 36. But we're mostly out of bullets. And the idea that like the Earth Crystal or Kibo was going to matter for the type of thing we were trying to do here, god damn. Oh, true, we can get an artifact. If there's one particular art, Inventor's Fair will let us get one particular artifact if there is one that helps us here. I don't know the deck well enough to know, but I do know that like we're not going to be mad at Chaos Theory. But I'm very, very mad at Hell to Pay. Hell to Pay is the type of thing that doesn't seem like it's going to be that great unless the deck's already working. And if the deck's already working, it doesn't really do anything meaty for us. And so from here, we're just kind of like land passing, and we have functionally infinite mana. But we don't have any outputs for that mana. We just land drop and wait for somebody else to fucking murder us. So let's start talking about draw options. A really basic one that's not going to be... Oh, sure, Helm of the Host. Great. A really basic card draw option would be something like Abundance. Not even card draw, but would just let you pick like, hey, can I get a spell that I can cast? Please? Pretty fucking please? Can I cast... Please? So let's talk about other fun things that we can do because we have a million mana. Right now we have X spells, we have pings. If we want to do big, cool things, did you own one of these books as a kid? Did you ever bring this book to elementary school and hold up the gem in the middle in the earnest hope that it would attract a dragon to your location? No, I did not. Well, you're about to. If you can make 14 mana, you can shoot somebody in the chest for 20 damage. And then you can hit somebody in the chest for another 20 damage. And if you have City on Fire, or if you have another one of your... I don't think you have any other damage modifiers, but independent of whether or not you have the damage modifiers, as a Logical Man has put it, this is an incredible fucking nuke lizard. This is the type of thing where if we top deck this in a position where we have a million treasures, or if we have this in a hand where we can ramp to Roxanne, we immediately become very happy. We have a way to spend our mana every turn. We have a way to turn an abundance of mana into a potential win condition. Just flatly awesome. I do not believe in Valgavoth's Onslaught, but I do kind of believe in Devastating Onslaught. Thoughts on Depth Shaker Titan? Depth Shaker Titan would be pretty good for this deck, yeah. We're going to have, no matter what we do to it, we're going to have a healthy number of treasures, and we should have a lot of meteorites. But right now, let's stick on things that are going to convert us into winning the game. Rasma, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Twink encourages Hobbit player to engage in war crimes. I am no twink, sir, but thank you for the 5. What does Faded Firepower do? Terminally fine, but yeah. So there's Devastating Onslaught, there is Faded Firepower, there is Ortheon, which I understand does not make an overabundance of sense to you as a finisher, but I think being able to spend 9 mana to make 5 Roxannes and throw around a minimum of 10 damage and make 10 more mana, that matters. In the same vein, Guild Feud isn't good, but could be funny. I love when cards aren't good, but can be funny. That's really bad. You oversold this card by a fair amount, saying probably isn't good here. When you look at a car, do you tell the driver, hey, me shitting on your hood probably wouldn't be good here? Is that how you live your life? There and Back Again can give us 14 tokens, but I don't think we need funny things. I think right now we have an overabundance of funny things. We have a goddamn monkey. We have James and the Giant Peach happening in this deck right now. Lulu, I'm thinking about the X-Red draw spells. We could demand answers. I don't think we need to be demanding answers. I think we need bigger ways to refill our hand once shit has gone a little bit kablooey. So I'm thinking about, yeah, let me look at Zenith Festival. The deck is not combat heavy at all. Yeah, I think Zenith Festival and Commune with Lava are good options because we have a lot of things that we have redundancies for, and our main issue is that we just don't pick up that many cards. I'm pretty confident that the average playtest, you will get a hand that can ramp to your commander. So we said this card was going to go fuck itself, so we go Land Elf. Land nothing, because we don't have a high number of 3 mana ramp, which is probably something we should fix. We go land Parallel Lives. Same thing of land Roxanne. Great. I make 2 meteorites. I'm so happy. I'm so fucking happy. I'm so happy that I didn't stop to play Alchemist Talent. This makes these tap for double, so I have 4 mana here. Displace dinosaurs, baby. Let's fucking go. Swing. I make 2, but they're now 7/7s. They're also tapped. And now I probably go... This is another good thought experiment moment. We have Displaced Dinosaurs out. So all of our artifact tokens are becoming 7/7s. We have a copier in hand. We also have a pinger in hand. And just putting the copiers to field is infinitely more effectual than putting Displaced Dinosaurs out. And I know we're like, oh, redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. With how low we are on card draw, we're going to be much better off taking these cards that don't do that much for us and turning them into things like Zenith Festival, where we can knock over our deck to find the things that do it. For the Common Good was the first card in this deck list, I believe. Yes. Would Delina Wild Mage be good in this deck, or is she already in there? She's not already in there. I think these were things that were cut somewhere along the way. I would rather have Ortheon. Having to attack with a 3/2 is a pretty genuine downside. Idol of Oblivion is criminally absent, as is nearly every other thing that draws cards in this game. So on the ramp section, I can't imagine that you ever want to play 2-mana ramp spells. This is going to be a more pedantic point than normal. But we need real bread! We can't be doing this minimum wage shit. Turn 2, 2-mana ramp is a 7-11 shift. I need you reaching, brother. I need you reaching, brother. I need you casting something on turn 1 that will ramp you, or casting something on turn 2 that will get you 2 lands. That is runway shit. That is merging on the freeway business. This isn't even deck advice. This is just life advice. This is putting one foot in front of the other instead of putting one foot and then putting the other foot to the left and then scooching to the right like a fucking crab and then putting the next foot in front of the other. Because we're trying to count to 5, Kodamas might be in there. You need more shit like this. Replace Kodama with... I like the term reaching. Replace this with Gwenna. They have Cultivate as well. But we want more things that are going to get us 2 mana instead of 1 mana. Like, fuck, you could even be wearing down a Power Stone right now. Like, the important part is that we don't... Every playtest we have done, and we've only done 2, but the playtests we have done have been turn 1 ramp, turn 2 pass. There's a 3-strike rule in green about that. You do that a 3rd time, they're taking your card, dog. Like, it is okay if the cards in your hand make you go, okay, on turn 3 I might have 5 mana, but I'm not going to spend 5 mana because I would rather play Parallel Lives than my commander, which is wrong, but you are allowed to be wrong. In a deck that's trying to get to 5 to get its shit going, the dream run is always turn 1 path, turn 1 ramp, turn 2 ramp, turn 3 5 mana spell. And sometimes you'll miss. But building 2 mana ramp into that equation when you have 1 mana ramp and 3 mana ramp that you've left on the table is just admitting defeat before the battle even begins. And so there's other 1 mana options like Utopia Sprawl, there's Birds of Paradise, which you have, there's Llanowar Elves, which you have. I don't know if you have Elvish Mystic. We do. I think there's also Fyndhorn Elves. Yeah, there's Fyndhorn Elves, there's Arbor Elf. You do have a pretty high density of forest, and so I don't think this will bite you in the ass too hard. So that is the type of thing I would like to see from a responsibility standpoint. Back to a funny, good time standpoint. The parts of the playtest that have looked really solid are when we go ramp into my commander, play a token doubler, find a dump. If it's not one of those 2 things, I think it should get cut for one of those 2 things or for something that finds that thing. And so we could do... This is going to look crazy because you're going to be like, oh, I'm not a stompy deck. This isn't going to draw too many. You are a mana deck. You can overpay. Rishkar's expertise in this deck says 6 mana, draw 4. Not great. Not the end of the world. 6 mana, draw 4, and I free cast Doubling Season. I free cast Parallel Lives. I free cast, I think Echoing Assault is right at 5. There's a million things you can free cast off of this that then make the deck continue to go crazy. And just because it's not 6 mana, draw fucking 25, which is what the green players are used to, doesn't mean it's not super goddamn good. Fires of Mount Doom. This is really bad. That's crazy. I think we can play it anyway because of the overpayment clause, but hell yeah. Hell yeah, dog. I love bad cards too. I love playing against people who follow your advice because you just board wipe them turn 4. Right, which happens maybe every game with you, but in the aggregate of playing Commander happens maybe 10 to 20% of the time. And I would rather have a deck that rips 80% of the time and gets hit hard 20% of the time than I would play like a bitch 100% of the time. I just don't care that much about winning. I would rather be loud and noisy and let people understand how they can fight back against me than I would try to like play super tactically in my bracket 2 big mana deck. That sounds abysmal to me. How do we feel about Jaya's Immolating Inferno as a finisher? That's fine. Pretty much anything with X in it will be fine. Yeah, this is also fine as more redundancy. I think we had like 10 to 15 slots to work with, but what I think you need to work on is we want to clear the path for the cool thing that is happening is I'm either making twice as many tokens, I have a way to copy Roxanne, or is there a third eventuality that makes us just as happy? You could throw combats in if you want to go to combats. Gloamsworn, please don't abuse the concept of a spectrum in Twitch chat. Yeah, who wants to be strategic in the strategic card game? All of us to some degree. But if you've self-selected into a deck that you identify as silly, at the very beginning, we are abandoning strategy a little bit. Like, if you played Mario Kart, have you played Smash Bros? There's a million games we play with our friends where we are being strategic, but there are times in which we abandon, where we put down the art of war to do something funny. Can we be fucking for real? Like, yeah, if this was a legacy deck, I wouldn't be talking about, fuck yeah, let's get a nuclear dragon. Fuck yeah, War and Power Stone, but we're not. We're talking about a cat lady with an explosive BBL. Let's get on the train, brother. It's leaving the station. And it is caked up. And that's why we talked about the responsible part being ramp turn 1, ramp turn 3. Like, nature's lore is the part of this, rampant growth actually. Rampant growth is the part of this deck where we are being not tactical for a bad reason. If we're gonna be not tactical, I want it to be for a goofy reason. That's great. I'm so, like, Academy Manufactor is not tactical for no sauce. If we're trading away tactics, I gotta get sauce back. It's gotta either be the Art of War or Alfredo. Both of those two make me happy. I'm an Olive Garden baby boy. But you can't roll up with no military experience and nothing on the pasta. That's how it is. I think Roaming Throne is too boring, given that we have the colors to do much more interesting things. Do you think Burn Down the House fits the overpayment clause? Not good enough. I've played that in Brawl. Flatly not good enough. So I think for draw, you can do Fires of Mount Doom, which again, bad, but you can, most games, afford to overpay. What other things could we afford to overpay on? I think Rishkars as well. Liam, I already recommended Ortheon. Don't make it as broad as tokens. The worst mistake you can ever make in a Magic deck is try to sort yourself into an archetype and then just start grabbing generic things that do stuff in the archetype. We don't give a fuck about Triplicate Titan. We care about Roxanne, and we care about making meteorites and making that money. That's all we care about. I need that shmoney. All right, I need that shmoney. And I need you to pass a kidney stone that I put there. So let me look at other... We don't need Awake in the Woods, no. Because this cares about artifact tokens. That just like, that is walking into a board wipe for no reason. The other things were like, Arbor Elf is potentially walking into a board wipe to speed up a lot. Awake in the Woods is walking into a board wipe just to make our friends feel better. Let's go card advantage, commander, green, red. Certainly not going to recommend the One Ring. You could put the War Room in as a land if you don't have it already. Burrito, I've tried to play Standard a couple times, but it's so boring. I do think Idol of Oblivion will work relatively well for you. It doesn't make me super happy because I don't think we need like one extra card a turn as bad as we need like a burst draw spell. We don't have counters, we have Harmonize. You could put Wheels in. You could put Gruul Atali in as just a fucking guy. If I was going to try to sell this tactically, the Communist Dinosaur can be a mana dump to knock individual players out. This might be too good, or not too good, sorry. This might make your table too salty if you kill somebody with infect quickly because you've curved well, but it's definitely not, it's not too good. I promise you that. Jamil's kind of like card draw. Fuck tactics, bro. I want free shit. Jamil's a little bit like card draw. You can choose to draw. Wild Wasteland is kind of bad. It's not the worst, but it's a little bit bad. Combustible Gear Hulk does get a little bit nice if you do put in more of those creature doublers. Because we're throwing around a lot of damage already. It's not gonna take too long for the table to be like, yeah, you know what, man? Get your 3 cards. You know what, man? Go ahead. And then if we have Ortheon, like, I just want you to imagine the world you could live in. Fuck Chamil. We're off of Chamil now. I want you to imagine the world you could live on if you went Ortheon, Roxanne, Combustible Gear Hulk, tap Ortheon for 9. I just want you to feel that in your heart. That's not heartburn. It's not the chest pain that marks the end. It's you winning a game of Commander. We're not doing share the spoils. We're spending all the silly budget on other stuff. Apex Devastator is almost card draw. I kind of dislike it for this deck because we do have a number of X spells, and if we hit any of them, it's just bad for us. Bonehorde Dracosaur is boring. This dinosaur is a taxpayer. He does work for the IRS. He's very, very good. I did not hydrate. Thank you for catching me. Millennium Calendar, you got to put the pipe down, brother. I appreciate it. You got to put that pipe down right now. Wraith, I don't like the thought crime of misusing the term just. Is Gear Hulk just Palantir on a body? Yes, it is, but a 6/6 first striking body is not the type of body you go, it's just a body. Yes, it's Palantir on a body. That's very good. That's extremely good. Open the Way is also not the worst ramp ever. You could throw that in there. You could do Seize the Spotlight, but I worry that your deck is not good enough at threatening early damage that they would just give you the creature. Time Kit, I recommended that earlier. I recommended that 5 minutes ago. You could hit the Mother Load. Another big Discover, which is, again, much like card draw, and does do the treasure making thing that you wanted to do. And then you have other options like Ren's Resolve, you have Wheels, you have the X spells like Zenith Festival, and there's something of Flame or like... Dude, long range sensor is heat. Not in this deck because we're not swinging enough, but it is a good card. Oh, Commune with Lava is the card that I was thinking of. You could do Hugs, but he's not the best mana dump. We don't have creatures to sacrifice. March of Reckless Joy could also kind of do it. In most situations where you have a lot of mana to pay, you don't really need to cast multiple. If we cast March of Reckless Joy for X equals 15, and you hit Inferno of the Star Mounts, and you hit a bunch of other good stuff, you just cast the dragon, you feed it a bunch of mana, and then you have Dragon Foie Gras that crushes everybody's heads with its thighs. What I don't like about Virtue of Courage is it's only this turn. We do not get an untap step to try it. Full Throttle, so additional combats were recommended as a third axis that we could try to do meteorite doubling down with, but I don't think it's necessary. It's really just if Irish Rager wants to or not. So let's put you on the pyramid. I am putting you... You're looking a little bit lost. You're looking a little bit lost. This earth crystal looking at me is... I don't think it's sauceable. I think we have at least a kind of plan. I think we ignored most of the good things about that plan for shiny, shiny pieces of dirt, but that's okay. I'm going to say you're kind of caught in the middle. I think you are a victim of having a few too many things going on, and we need to get ourselves back on the golden path of I ramp, I play my commander, I double my commander's output in some way, whether it's via token doubling, making additional copies of her, or making additional combats, and then I convert all that extra mana into a big flashy play that kills the table, or presents lethal to the table. And then I think we're set. And those can all be very funny. They don't have to be super responsible. You can make 5 Atalis and hope you rob enough to win. You can make 5 of the Gear Hulks and point at somebody and go, hey, do you think the top 15 cards of my library can kill you with damage? You could just make a table full of dragons and hit people really, really hard. But I think that's the path that we want to follow, and whichever of these cards appeal to you the most along that path are the bricks you can set in it. So that is going to be it for your deck, Irish Rager. I hope you enjoyed. We're going to the manual ad break, and then Kobylis is coming to the stage. I'm going to go re-up my water, and then I will be right back. Hey, what's the best Cody build? Not building Cody. Hope that helps, Joey. All right. I see the empty chair. I know Mauled will be back soon. That is how it goes. The Blessed One, thank you for the Twitch follow. I also have tremendously good news for all of you. I'm about to pay a $600 invoice to begin getting new channel emotes. And I have the preview of one of them. I'm going to let you know. They're very cutesy. This one's the goofiest one. Gonna seem a little bit different than the normal Mauled Hound energy. But they do fuck, and we're getting a lot of them. Look at how dumb this motherfucker looks. Look into his eyes. Look at how fucking stupid he is. Yes. Yes. And we have, I think like 16 more like this on the way. So these are all going to be new Twitch emotes that I'm all going to load in. Are they Twitch exclusive emotes? I think for now, I don't know if I can put emotes in on YouTube. I commissioned them as part of the post-subathon stuff. So if I can put them on YouTube too, I might put them on YouTube as well. Vulgar Warlock, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. The snout is ballsack shaped. Hey, you're gonna be banned real quick. Hey, real quick, illogical. Hey, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Please get the fuck out of my face. They're not ready yet, Vulgar, but you will have them soon. I think they should be done. I can't unsee it. I think they should be done by the end of next week, I think they said. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Kobillis, who has sent in a spooky, scary deck. There's a primer in Moxfield, but the gist is that it's a Niv Mizzet Supreme self-mill deck that wants to win by giving our opponents token copies of Fage the Untouchable. I present mail order goth girl bride delivery service. Wow. Note that the SGGB is not liable for customers gooning themselves to death upon receipt of their authentic goth girl. You know I gotta ban you. You know I gotta ban you. Come here, Kobillis. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm finding this name. Stop it. Stop it with the based. Macy, you're banned too. Come on. We've talked about this, you motherfuckers. We've talked about what gooning means. We've talked about what gooning means. Okay. So that's funny as fuck. You know, okay, wrong person. Now you're banned for real. For implying that I have ever made a mistake in my life. What's up? What's up, Macy? Where's your rebuttal? Do you care to tell me how I was the wrong person now? Do you care to tell me how I've mistakenly banned the wrong person? Didn't mean to ban you first off for calling this based? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Great premise. Your bride. Fractured identity and Fage the Untouchable. Perfect. So, instance... That's wild. Okay, so I guess the angle is we mill Fractured Identity. We can cast it from the graveyard and we don't care because we have Jumpstart on it. Katazumi, thank you for the tier 2 sub for the 7th month in a row. Hell yeah, Tumblr posting. Excellent. Glimpse the Unthinkable, I agree with. And then just right off a fucking cliff with Wreck and Rebuild. That's amazing. That's record speed. Great card to dog shit. In 5 colors, too. Every card in the game they have. And they've spent 8 mana to mill 10 cards. Absolutely horrifying. Tarzard, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. It's more for the ramp, TBH. So it's to mill 5, get a land battlefield tapped. That's hopeful, yeah. Traumatized Singularity Rupture. Somebody watched the Elec Man review. Authentic goth girls. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess this would. So we don't even. That is clever. My immediate worry was, oh, this sounds like a really weird angle to try to pull where I have to not only get Phage into my graveyard, I have to get it out, and then I have to cast it, and then I have to cast Fractured Identity. But we do creature copying, and then we Fractured Identity that creature. That is good. That's like you're gonna get executed for being a criminal, but the firing squad's gonna be like, he had a hell of a work ethic. Right after they riddle you with bullets. Luring them out of the cemetery with witchcraft and incense. So this gets our copiers back. More stuff that gets our copiers back, I presume. Because if we did this for Phage, we would just die. Is she really a baddie if she can't kill you? So we've got a lot of little. Okay, man. All right. What is it with? Why are we just sliding in? What are we doing? Just sliding in these terrible, no good, bad cards in between all the good stuff. Like, yeah, instant speed removal. Boink whip. Boink whip. That's so funny. Okay. Alright, most of these good. These make sense. You can't say no to her, but she can say no to you. Few counterspells. Reasonable. Desperately thirst scrolling Tinder. Fuck, that's so accurate. Because this is the best possible artist printing for that, too. I think comboing off via jumpstart is quite the phrase. But okay. Survival of the fittest, very good. Painted Indulgence seems very good for this type of self-mill angle. Alright, so we do know what good ramp is, and then we have Wreck and Rebuild anyway. I cannot possibly parse this tag in the context of Anger, Valgavoth, and the fucking Tickler being in the same place together. Oh, okay, these are things you might reanimate that you're not going to Fractured Identity. Sure. You thought I forgot these off? Fuck, I did. I did. 38 lands. Okay. I like this. I don't like all of it. I don't like all of it, but I like this. I think what I... Okay, let me walk through what I dislike. The things that seem suspect to me. These are the things where we've picked pretty bad cards because they say mill on them. I really like the idea. I think we've managed the downside risk of having to fucking get Fage the Untouchable on board. I think that's been managed really, really well. I think the ones that stand out to me as questionable are Wreck and Rebuild. None of those. Flick Sequence. Notion Rain. And low-key anger. I can't think of a lot of things that we need haste for. And that's really like almost no cards that I disagree with. This is cool as shit. And I doubt those cards distract from it enough to ruin the build. So let me see how it actually... Let me see what the timeline of this happening. Anger turns reanimating the bloom tender into a ritual effect. See, that's the type of crack I was worried you were smoking. That's the type of thing where it's like... We're using combo language to describe Looney Tunes bullshit. And we could just be playing like a better card. Anger makes Hermit Druid feasible. Because I have no base. I'm struggling to imagine the world where your table has so much interaction that Hermit Druid needs haste, but the overall plan is still feasible. I think that's the disconnect in my head. Because if it's like, oh, like Hermit Druid won't survive a turn around the table because they have removal, but if I Hermit Druid at haste, I'll be able to reanimate the clone and then spend the mana to get Phage, and none of that will get stopped. Table includes Crim, too much interaction. Right, but like that's not a reason to run Anger, that's a reason to run Deflecting Swat. You need 10 mana to combo, but with Hermit Druid I can go off with 6. Oh, so this is sweaty. Alright. Oh, that's so much worse. Then in that case, I especially question fucking Notion Rain. Nani? We're like, I have Hermit Druid. Hermit Druid has to have haste, because if he has haste and I have anger, then I can ritual cast Bloom Tender, allowing me to do this Phage plan. But Notion Rain is 2 colors. It can be cast with Jumpstart. You've... Huh? What if we just did it? Okay, so let's... Alright, I'm beginning to wrap my brain around this. I still like it. I'm confused to say the least, because we seem to have drawn some interesting lines in the sand about where something has to be included for flavor and where something has to be included because it makes the combo happen better. So I'd like to interrogate that a little bit more, and I'm going to interrogate that by playtesting it. So turn 1, we have removal and we have double ramp. Off rip, I don't like this hand. This commander doesn't seem like it does anything until the graveyard is full. And so I'll watch in chat for a second to see if you disagree. But this just seems like I make a lot of mana to go nowhere. And that doesn't seem like the right kind of opening hand. Okay. So I'd mulligan that. Now I get Dark Confidant. I get Entomb. I have 2 lands. I don't have ramp, but I have a clone. So I have a clone effect. I have my Phage Getter. I have Traumatize. This seems like I can at least try, because if nothing else, I can do Dark Confidant, start picking up more cards. So I go Mesa. I'm going to hope to God you have a Triome. I get Endotha Triome. Next turn, I go get... at this point, I'm getting a plateau. Just presume we're color fixed. I'm going to go Dark Confidant. Upkeep, I'll lose 2 life and draw another thing. I miss my land, which is sad as fuck, so I just ramp. And then... if I don't want to lose... this is where I think it's going to be very difficult to playtest this deck. Like, we can Goldfish the combo, no problem. If I don't want to lose tempo, I Arcane Signet Entomb and put... I think there's an argument to put Fractured Identity in the graveyard, because then my commander could cast it. I could Ring Sight Phage to hand, discard it, and then copy it, and my commander could recast the thing. Because if I entomb Phage, then I'm out, then I don't have a clear path to get Fractured Identity into my hand. So we'll go next turn, counter Squall. Holy fuck, I can't. How many lands? You had like 38, right? We had a normal amount of pans in this bitch. We had a normal amount of pans in this kitchen, and we still can't fucking cook? There's 38. All right, I Bloom Tender. And we'll say that I did end up like a good boy. I entombed Fractured Identity. Turn 4. Next turn, I lose more life for Survival of the Fittest. I finally hit my 3rd land. Do I get to pop off yet? Wow, this blows. So I can add black and green, which could add my commander. I guess I add black and green and blue, and I go get Ring Sight for Phage. Oh, true. I just do Niv instead. Fuck all that. I do Niv so that I can get 5 on Bloom Tender next turn. And then I will discard fucking Cosmic Rebirth, I guess, because I could recast that. My next turn, I get a land. God bless. I play a land. 5 mana. Ring Sight. Phage. A Izzet Charm. I'm still floating 1 additional mana, but for pips I had to make a 2nd blue. I draw 2, discard Phage, discard Squirming Emergence. I play this. We still can't do it this turn. I continue to take issue with the premise that Hermit Druid not having haste is a significant problem, but we could get away with all of this. That seems like somebody spent too long in the shower coming up with retorts to an argument that happened 4 hours ago. Right, that, and Macy, that's also what I'm thinking. And you know, there's always, when I'm piling a deck I've never seen before, there's always an argument for pilot error. But because we don't have, like, because we're not doing an untap thing to make Bloom Tender make infinite mana or near infinite mana, the idea that I'm gonna be able to do the setup I need, like, I think maybe the better way to frame it, a lot of the things in this deck seem like a partial trauma response to getting hit with a removal spell by Crim. Rather than what would be good for the deck in a vacuum, even in a vacuum that included guns being pointed at it. Because we can say, like, Hermit Druid surviving a round seems unreasonable. This is pretty goddamn Animaniacs. Like, I'm calling the goddamn Ghostbusters instantly. I have perhaps spent a bit too long goldfishing. Yeah, you do strike me like the one man who knows Vampire Survivors a little too well. I don't think we need better mill and better card draw. I think we need fewer specific contingencies. I think that's what's breaking this deck down. We, like an autistic man desperately trying to relate to his peers, have attempted to flowchart out all of our conversations, and we've been like, okay, situation A will happen. I need to be prepared for that. There's a couple ways that can go. So it can break into B1. It can break into B2. It can break into B3. and then I'll do B4 just for aesthetic purposes. And then between B1 through 4, Crim came in. Crim came in, and he fucked up your shit. And then you went, oh my god, bad things can happen to me too. And then we added, like, we began branching in a bunch of different situations, and we added a whole new axis that I can't even represent in MS Paint. And we are now defending a couple choices being made for the deck by saying, okay, well, Hound, what you don't understand is that contingency Z1C theta actually connects with contingency B3 and makes me win the game. Don't you understand, you dumb idiot? Don't you understand, you fool? You cannot recognize my genius. I think that is what's happened a little bit, and I understand that path. This is my thought process. And so that's a pi, not a theta band. I'm sorry you guys had to see that. Shame. Anyway, you're back. Thank you. I don't think it's that we need honest Rutstein, and I don't think it's that we need to change too much. What I would like to see is God, Naraki, you can't soul read the motherfucker like that. Naraki has said, at that point, why don't you just play Voice of Victory? Which is truly heartbreaking. Truly rude as fuck statement about this combo deck that's so deep in the weeds it's talking about a ritual cast of Bloom Tender, but not about, hey, please stop casting removal on my turn. But what I think what the deck would benefit more from, rather than any one specific card, I think it would benefit from a deeper understanding of what it is allowed, of what tools it's allowed to use and what tools it isn't allowed to use. The weirdest thing to me, I'm not saying the weakest thing, the strangest thing to me about this deck is we have a deterministic Hermit Druid mills my entire library, and we don't have a good tutor. And we don't have free or cheap interaction. We have a lot of things that have to combo off, and I'm using the word combo so loosely, a lot of things that have to combo off with the jumpstart clause of our commander, but we don't really care about the jumpstart clause of our commander outside the context of I'm going to reanimate Phage. And so if we were tied to a greater purpose, if we were crusading for the glory of two-color cards, and this was a deck about two-color cards, and the one point we were breaking for was Phage, I think I would understand it a little bit more. But when so much of the deck is propped up by a monocolor card doing a deterministically good thing, it's where I'm struggling to find the lines of, okay, where is the theme of this deck controlling what we get to do, and where is it just, I want to make the Phage thing happen as quickly and efficiently as possible? Because Wreck and Rebuild seems more on theme. Singularity Rupture seems a little bit more on theme. Slick Sequence is holding up that caboose for theme by the fucking nails. And then we got Toxic Deluge. And I don't think it's that any of these individual instances are too far. It's, I think, about picking, or maybe it is, but only in the context of this deck doesn't seem like it's picked a line. It doesn't seem like it's picked a line in the sand of, this is what I want it to feel like. This is what I'm okay with it being weak to, and this is where I want it to be really powerful. And it does, honestly, I blame Krim for this deck. It looks like you probably had picked a line, and then Krim kicked you in the fucking head with a bunch of removal spells, and then you were like, oh god, oh fuck, I have to change my baby so they don't get bullied at school. Is that 6 of one, half dozen of the other on that statement? We sent our child to kindergarten. They came back bruised, more or less. Yeah, because we have a lot of good and flavorful picks that work with our commander really, really well. And then we have like, good card, save me. I love you, good card. So one, I have all these cards, but I've not yet actually played this. Oh, this is a full trauma response. So it's not Krim's fault. It's previous Krim's fault. Krim killed your previous child. And in your previous child's memory, we have crafted the Bubble Boy. Exceptional. Okay, so for theory crafting deep in the weeds. For theory crafting deep in the weeds, I think the best thing you can do is pick, do I want this to feel like a good deck, or do I want this to feel like a, no, I don't want to draw that line because that will load the question too much. It's, do I want the highlight of this deck to be the combo, or do I want the highlight of this deck to be the way I effectuate the combo? Because if the combo is everybody gets a phage, there's a lot of ways to do that. And if the highlight of the deck is I'm going to use all these 2-color cards to try to get me a phage and try to cast from my graveyard, the deck can also do that. And we're a little bit in the middle. Stuff like Survival of the Fittest, super goddamn good. Super goddamn good, and actually probably stays because you have all these like 2-color reanimation parts. I want above all else to kill people with Fage the Untouchable. Everything else is secondary. Tremendous. Then I think things like, depending on how powerful you want the deck to be bracket wise, things like Notion Rain, Sauron's Ransom, even Plasma Capture, these are too ineffective for the sake of being 2 colors. On the turn you are comboing with this deck, you are doing pedal to the metal. I am Evel Knievel trying to jump a ramp and make it to the moon. And if they get you, they fucking get you. And the fact that you have a 4-mana counterspell in your graveyard is unlikely to be the difference maker. If you are running free interaction and you have set up Niv Mizzet beforehand, free interaction could be the difference maker between this combo going through and this combo not going through. But if we just hold on. I've lost YouTube chat. What is fucking okay, there we go. Because you talked about Slick Sequence being card neutral when you are comboing off with Niv Mizzet. Like, at that point, just put the Lively Dirge in the bag. I think the benefit of being able to reuse these cards is not actually that high because you don't want to grind out value. You want to combo off. It's a slow combo, and you've earned it. And again, when they execute you, the man injecting that lethal poison into your veins will be like, he did work hard for all those murders. So we don't want to be reusing stuff that much. There might be a couple specific pieces we want to be able to reuse, like Dovin's Veto. I could see us reusing because it's already efficient. But unless it's highly efficient, or driving us really, really closely towards getting Phage in and then out of the graveyard, I don't think it's worth I don't think it's worth synergizing with our commander over. See, like, yeah, we have combo recursion piece. I hate you, Crim. Synergy with commander. And in very few of these, I can think of very few situations. I can think of very few situations in which you are ending the turn with 4 mana floating to do this, or in situations where at the pivotal moment somebody's trying to interact with you, you have 4 mana to mess around with. I did focus a lot on, but what if I mill this? I want to maximize my graveyard as a secondary hand. That is a great strategy for decks that are seeking to grind people down and chip damage or chip life loss or slowly assemble a board. You want like 2 events to happen. You want Phage on your field and you want Fractured Identity to resolve. Those you have to give up a lot of safety in order to make that happen on an effective time scale. And you kind of have to take the crotch protection off, and if they see you coming and they wind up that kick, they get it. The Blessed One, that's what we're talking about, is I think they have a lot of cards that are 2-color that should just be better 1-color options. And so now, because we're doubling down on value and making Crim very, very sad, we get 1 piece of removal, we get 1 combo enabler that we can't ramp towards, and we're just land dropping for turn. And we get 1 other piece of removal. This hand. God himself is watching you. I miss my first land drop. Oh fuck, I discard Phage. Flooded Strand, give me a Triome. Turn 3, give me a land. Me when I wait. Turn 4, give me a land. Me when I wait. Turn 5. I control no legendary creatures. Body double. I have Phage. Huzzah! Nobody will think I have it. I fractured identity. So if there is removal, 1 Dovin's Veto probably not going to stand in the way of it. Maybe it will. Maybe we Dovin's Veto something, and then we Niv Mizzet Supreme to have the option to play it again. But we don't have the mana open to redo any of that. I guess we could have... Well, if we Survival of the Fittest did, we wouldn't have had creatures to discard to turn into Bloom Tenders or anything like that. And so I think the toolbox is getting too big to effectively dig in. And I think we need to tunnel vision the toolbox down just to stuff that makes the combo happen more effectively, and pare back the stuff that is like, my graveyard always has to be this all-encompassing secondary resource. Like, frankly, not a huge believer in Culling Ritual. A lot of your deck has a lot of pips that can't make use of the black and green mana you make. And like, yeah, you blow out the token player, but you blow them out when you give them a Phage. I just picked up a Jace vs. Raska dual deck set. Is it a good way to get into Modern, even if I get my shit kicked in? I do not know what that product is. I will guarantee you will get your shit kicked in. Modern has come a long way. If you want to get into Modern, I would find a Discord community to practice on cockatrice and just use online cards instead of worrying about investing in paper. That deck is going to be horrendous dog shit. You are going to get blown out and take very few game actions. I am sorry, brother. So this works, and this is like turn 7, I land drop to the god combo. See, and now it's happening again. God is loving us, and what's getting in the way of God's love is these dog shit, sorry, not this one, these dog shit 2-color cards. We have the body double, we have the graveyard tutor, we have the fractured identity, and then we have something that is card neutral when I'm comboing off with a commander who does not matter. Please! Please! So that is the approach I think you should take to this. I think there's a different value grind Div Mizzet deck that cares a lot about graveyard as a second hand. I don't think the Fage the Untouchable combo kill is the thing that does it. I do think this can be bracket 3, and it being bracket 3 does probably mandate that you are staying a little bit away from, like the deck can't just be packed full of all the most efficient tutors in the world. But you should have some tutors, you should have some good monocolor cards that you can't reuse because it's okay that we can't. We just need the one shot. We can't worry about having to reload. We just have to trust ourselves to navigate the situation and get it done. I'm looking up the ruling. If the copied permanent was copying something else, the tokens enter the battlefield as whatever that permanent was copying. So that would work for body double. Because body double is copying Phage, the tokens will enter the battlefield as whatever body double was copying, which is Phage. They will all explode. Absolutely. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of the internet. We can all learn together. So that's my recommendation. I'm going to put you in 2 places. You do deserve a place high on the pyramid. What do we do if the combo falls through? We concede. We concede or we cast Valgavoth. I do think the thing that will forever keep this away from true peak for me is that we don't have room for a backup plan. Like we can... Backup plans are for cowards, and we're not cowards. Yeah. So I'm going to put you here because you do deserve a spot on the pyramid. You're also definitely you're definitely Squirrel from Ice Age. 100%. This is you. This is you thinking about what could be done with a hasted Hermit Druid. And I need you to stop, and I need you to back away slowly. But I love the energy. I love the way you have attempted to execute that. And I think we're a little bit too deep in the anti-crim theory crafting. So Kobylis, that's going to be all for you, and that is where we are going to end it for today. Thank you all for being here. Mondays, these are done via Ko-Fi commission, but we do a free roast stream the first Saturday of every month, but it won't be happening next month. It'll be happening later in the month. Beeps is live. We're gonna raid Beeps. Please hit them with the bald Kai message. This is a long copy pasta you can bring up in my chat by doing ! bald Kai. We will be live again tomorrow with Veggie Wagon doing custom card reviews. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your generosity very, very much. I hope to see you all tomorrow. And please remember to stay toxic. YouTube, that is just it for us, but I will see you tomorrow.